Danger and diversity. Both of these words perfectly describe the vast lands and regions of Calradia. From pine-clad mountainsides to frozen tundra and smoky arid wastes battered by sandstorms, the many regions of Calradia all have their beauty and their dangers. By the 12th century, you didn't have to go to a city or the fields of war to find dangerous people or deadly warfare. Even the idyllic villages were maligned with raiders and bandits, brigands and thieves, perfectly willing to cut your throat or ride you down on the roads for your food or your money. Back then, men expected robbery and murder as a given, and traveled in large groups. For in the wild, lawless lands of Calradia, there was no such thing as right or wrong, or good and evil. Just the living and the dead.
taking command! After me!
We won!
What have we here?
This guy here chasing us too. Let's see if we can make it to the safety of our city here, and I will reorientate you fellas. You guys are probably quite lost at this stage. We're going to do a little bit of shopping here in town. I'm going to wander around town a little bit, get some goods for this developing little party of ours, and I will explain exactly what the fuck is going on here. I'm sure you guys are quite confused. All right, fellas, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Welcome back again to our Vlandian campaign. If you're very confused, in fact, if you've been wondering this whole time, if you clicked the wrong link or something like that, the wrong campaign video, don't be afraid. This is still our Vlandian campaign, and I want to introduce you to Rylan and Henry. These guys are both brothers. These guys just turned of age. They're both about 20 years old, and if you can't piece things together quite yet, of course, we are at Lycurmon. We're near the Southern Empire, or ordinarily where the Southern Empire starts, and these guys are the sons, the aforementioned exiled children of Baron York. Indeed, this campaign, I told you fellas to expect some twists. Obviously, we're no longer in the Vlandian territory. We're no longer part of the Vlandian campaign. We don't have the riches. We don't have all of that good stuff. We only have a few items that their mother was able to sneak to these guys as they were exiled. And besides that, all they have is their own brawn, their own brains, and, of course, the patronage character skills, right? These guys are already relatively high level. I think mid-20s, both of them. We'll show you a little bit more of their character spec as we go along. There are other children of Baron York that are out there in the world, and this storyline will weave those in. Now, as you've already seen, These guys are trying to make their way in the world, and they're being assailed by rebels. Excuse me, bandits. I guess they're rebels. They're bandits and rebels and all kinds of brigands and stuff like that. We have a mod called Dangerous Bandits, and so there are more bandits in our campaign than normal, and the assault continues here. Now, I need to get some money because we need some horses, right? Without horses, very difficult to get around the campaign map. You become encumbered very easily, and you get chased down by bandits. Fortunately, we've got 10,000 hours playing Bannerlord. We've got some decent combat skills, and of course, we have these characters that have not only rising skill set, but they have a few pretty nice weapons. Ryland, this main character, your new main character, for those of you following along, he has a sword that basically his mother, Liena, sneaked out when he was exiled. He was exiled at 15, and she gave him this sword, basically hoping against hope that it would help him survive the rigors of the wild, right? These guys were exiled because the Baron was concerned that at some point or other they would rival him in strength and maybe even rival him for the family lead, right? So out we go here into the wild, and I know this is probably the last thing people expected, but that's what I want on this channel. I want it to be strange and unknown. I want you guys to be wondering if characters are going to die left and right, if Baron York is going to die, all of these things I want you guys wondering. That way this campaign is more interesting than normal. Now my brother here, or we'll say my brother here, Henry, has got a good skill set. He's a two-handed guy. He's got a bow, and the other children are going to be involved at some point or other. I say the other children, if you've been doing your homework on this campaign, Baron York and Liena had at least 6 children, and there's rumors of a 7th, right? How all that plays into this campaign, we shall see. Now, obviously, we're now no longer in Vlandian territory, right? Being exiled, these guys wanted to make sure they were steered well clear of Vlandian territory, and to do so, these guys have been traveling for some time. You know, they haven't been fighting too much. Of course, their skills are developing. You can see their athleticism and tactics and whatnot going up at the bottom. We've already had a couple gnarly battles. You'll have to forgive me for that initial intro. I film and narrate, but a lot of times if it's, you know, I don't know, it's sort of dramatic or a cutscene, I prefer to have no commentary. And while I was playing that, I was like, you know what? Let's just make this kind of like an extended cutscene. It'll be more stressful. It'll be more mysterious for guys watching. And hopefully it had that effect. Hopefully I didn't lose 33,000 people or whatever that just X'd out wondering what the fuck they were watching. Please forgive that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that fact, right? Play a little bit more like a movie here. Now, these two brothers, you know, are going to be intimately involved in this campaign. Here's the rub. Baron York is still out there, right? I'm really going to boggle your mind with this campaign. He's still going to be roaming around with Vlandian forces. He's going to have an army out there at some point, right? We may even meet Baron York either as an enemy or as an ally or as a neutral on the battlefield. And I'm sure you guys are boggled, like, how can you do this? Well, we've found some mods that are very handy for some of this sort of dynamic and unique content. And I'm going to keep you a bit in the dark, right, on some subjects, right? I could show you the characters where, of course, all of the children that are of age, their character, you know, you could see their character pages. I'm intentionally going to keep you guys in the dark, just like the Fog of War, with a few elements like that. You can see, though, we're starting here from scratch. We have 500 gold, 6 influence, and 2 little, I don't know, bags of grain or whatever you want to call it. And we need horses here because we're getting chased down by every fucking bandit. This is definitely Bannerlord hard mode, but let me tell you a couple advantages we have. The first advantage is we're already clan tier 6. There's no way for me to reset our clan tier to tier 0. As far as I know, maybe there's some way to do it, and by the time you guys give me the comments on how to do that, it's going to be too late. It's not really going to matter that much. I'm not going to rush out and start a kingdom or something like that. But that side of things will be easier, and I really don't want to grind for 20 episodes or 10 episodes just to get these characters up and running. At some point or other, we'll probably be a mercenary, right? We will play into some kind of storyline here These guys are going to be developing. Obviously, we're going to have some troops at some points. I have no intention of trying to conquer Battania here, Calradia here with 3 of us, right? We're going to recruit some regular troops, in fact. While the Baron York is a nationalist, these guys are straight out trying to survive. We will take any fucking help we can. We'll take Sword Sisters, we'll take Imperials, we'll take Khazate or Aserai. And at some point or other, we will give you a nice overview of the land, talk about some of the politics with this bloodied Sword Sister here. But hopefully, you guys are starting to orientate yourself, right? You guys have been dizzy for the last 10 minutes watching, wondering what the fuck is going on here. Hopefully, I can slowly reorient you, and you will appreciate kind of where we have landed here. Oh, the guy ran right by us. I guess, I don't know if that means he was afraid of us or what, but we need some money. We need some gold so we can acquire some troops. And then we need to try to figure out what to do here. Marriage is on the mind. These guys are 20 years old. These guys are fucking incredibly horny, right? These guys are hornier than a dinosaur. They need to get laid. They need a wife.
What have we here?
We're getting chased down left and right. These guys have all kinds of stress, right? They need to be relieved. And so we're going to definitely look for wives, but you cannot get married until you have money, right? So these guys early on here in this side campaign, that's what we'll call this. These guys are going to try to acquire money, try to acquire some equipment, horses, food, some hamburgers, a nice 401k, all of that kind of stuff. And for the first time in this campaign, we're going to have a little bit of leisure here. Although these battles are going to be stressful, I'll have a little bit of leisure to do a little philosophy. I won't tell you how many episodes this is going to be before we sort of bounce around to different storylines. But at some point or other, of course, we will be back with the Baron, right? And then these guys will be out there in the world, right? We're basically going to keep your guys' heads really confused as to what's going on. At the same time, of course, I think you'll understand, basically. Oh, shit. Javelin in the neck. And I can't hide it any longer. I am playing at half the normal damage for the main character. I don't think you can defeat large armies of brigands like this. It is temporary, though. It's probably going to be this first episode. Ordinarily, you'd be fighting looters, and I just find it so boring that I didn't want to do that from the get-go here. I mean, I have raggedy armor, and I did this to myself intentionally. So, it's still going to be hard. We've already been captured a few times, but the main character right now, Ryland, is not like some beastly god. He just has, he's taking lower damage than normal. So hopefully you guys can forgive that under the obvious presumption that we're taking on these handicaps to make the game more interesting, and it will be temporary. It'll just be this first episode. Motherfucker gonna kill my brother. He did kill my brother. All right, so let's mention that here. Now, I didn't hear him groan. In fact, don't go anywhere, horse. We're gonna use you. There's just the one guy left. Good. I can't get on a horse. This guy doesn't have the prerequisite riding skill. However, that doesn't mean we can't use this prancing horse. This horse is kind of prancing. Getting this guy's way for us. Thank you very much. And down you go, brigand. Eat shit. Thank you very much, horse. We need to get our riding skill up. I can't even get on these low-level horses. All right, so talk about death here. We see my brother did not die. We are not going to save scum with these episodes here. Now, I did some cut scenes. Of course, I had to do a little save scumming. But these characters are subject to death. And I mentioned it before. The Death for All mod is part of this campaign. We have turned it way up. I think it's 20 times the normal rate, right? So the Death for All mod is going to impact this campaign. Clan leaders and whatnot. Oh, shit. That guy almost got a hold of us while we're injured here. We need some troops bad. We're going to have to do a little bit of buying and selling merchandise here, but I should be able to juggle here while we kind of restock our army here. I am going to recruit this companion. Of course, speaking of companions, our other companions are out there too, right? You guys' minds, your mind is probably, it's like when you saw that movie Interstellar, you're probably in a little bit of a mind bend right now, and I think that's good, right? I will obviously weave all this together. In fact, some of my best experiences in life, whether it was a book or a movie, especially like books, are when there are multiple storylines going on, and eventually the narrator, that's me, weaves those stories together in a dynamic, interesting way that keeps you guys curious, that keeps you wondering what's going to happen. It also refreshes things, right? We were running around with the Baron Just yesterday, I was filming an episode with the Baron. Here we are in rags. We've got 2, 3, 4 characters maybe. We're going to recruit some brigands. We're in a different part of the map, right? We're going to be fighting against different foes. Initially, of course, just against brigands and looters and whatnot. But we're going to refresh, some of the things in this campaign, and then we will start to weave things together. Of course, there will be cutscenes to explain much of what's going on here. You guys are probably confused. I had this intent all along for anybody curious. Obviously, his children are exiled. I still wanted his children to be part of this campaign. Now, how's the rest of it going to go? Well, the same thing those movies and books explained to me. You don't tell the people right away, right? I learned from TV that is better if you guys don't really know what's going to happen next, right? That keeps you curious, it keeps you interested, and it keeps you coming back, right? I'm trying to make a few dollars here with this hobby job for my retirement. This is going to be a hobby job as long as we keep making a little bit of money. For those curious, I like to be transparent about it once in a while. I'm making $500-600 a month. When I do the math, I'm making somewhere between $2 and $5 an hour. But we're paying our dues at this stage with the YouTube channel, and I really enjoy it. There's a chance down the road that I'm making $20 or $30 an hour. And if I can have fun in a hobby job and make $20 or $30 an hour, have people blow up the dopamine in my brain and say I'm a good narrator or a good strategist or whatever. I don't know how to talk. Once in a while they'll say I'm a stupid fuck, and that hurts. You gotta feed me some dopamine, fellas. Feed me a few pennies here for the advertisements, and this campaign and other campaigns will roll into my retirement. Now, I won't drag you through too much of this, right? We sold 2,000 gear here, but I'm going to start to deck out our companions. We're not going to be too frivolous with stuff here. I'm not going to be trying to min-maxing this secondary campaign here, but we are going to play it legitimately, right? We're going to have to do a handful of quests. I will talk about some of my strategies, when I'm building out a small army like this. And this was lacking for the campaign for a lot of guys here. There are a few little variabilities that I can't fix. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but my party size maximum is 178, which is obviously that's not normal, and the reason for that is our clan tier. Like I said before, I can't fix that. However, we're not going to have an army of 178 anytime soon. As you can see, we can barely afford bread here. For some reason, fish and cheese and shit is really expensive here. You know what? I don't think we're going to buy any of that. We may be on starvation. We're going to be a starving college student here for a little while. Now, I'll direct your attention to the year 1105, right? The last time you watched an episode with the Baron, it was probably later than that, right? So we have kind of gone back in time. But like I said, the Baron is in this campaign. He is still running around. He's the same old bad guy, too. You'll probably see him out there raiding and sacking, destroying villages, killing people, all kinds of stuff that the Baron would do. And like I said, there's at least some chance that we interact with the Baron with his children, which I think will be a fascinating development for this campaign for you fellas, right? Now, I need horses. I can't chase down anybody. We're dragging around these prisoners because I'm trying to get some free troops here. And without horses, of course, you can't really do a whole lot on the campaign map. So we're going to kind of have to run into a battle or two here. I need a little bit of money. I'd prefer not to fight, a whole bunch of troops and get all of our shit looted. Now, you guys, with me, you guys are free to do what I call scoreboard watching. The lower left-hand corner there, you'll probably see at some point, right? You will see Baron York is captured so-and-so. Or maybe you'll see Baron York was captured, right? Stuff like that. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic. Even though, of course, I'm behind the scenes here, right? I'm working all the magic, and a magician never tells us tricks, right? Maybe we'll tell the tricks after everything's all over. But while this is all going on, it's going to be really interesting to sort of see these events going on with the Baron, to watch the Aserai expanding, maybe contracting, and then see how we interact with it here, right? I have a plan. That said, the AI sometimes interferes with your plan, right? If one of these characters gets killed, who knows what'll happen. It can definitely alter my plans. Some of my plans are concrete, right? I have plans that such and such thing is going to happen, right? For example, And that was intentional, of course. I'm just sort of simulating that there are some things that are pre-contrived. In other words, I wrote out a storyline for this campaign. Some of it's going to thrill you guys. I think you are going to love it. And that's part of the reason we're having this little side branch, right? I think this is highly unique for YouTube. If someone else has done this on a YouTube channel, kudos to them. I promise it's not plagiary. I just thought this would be an interesting idea to essentially have side series of this main campaign. Again, this main campaign is still focused on the Baron, but his children are part of it, right? Lyanna is part of it. The Queen, damn. It's fucking stabbing the shit out of our women. She's probably near death. But another victory here, right? And of course, we cornered these bandits, so we're going to be able to slip into the city here. So it's going to be interesting for you fellas, right? A lot of the same characters that were part of the episodes with Baron York are still in this game, right? In other words, some of the kings and queens that are out there. Man, god damn it. You know, nothing like doing some live content creation for you fellas, having a plan, having like this dynamic plan to make things all interesting for you, and then you get this shit happen. Well, I mean, here's your proof that we're just doing things live, right? If I wasn't doing things live, we wouldn't have this fucking bug. I would just reset this shit, but we're playing and narrating these live, and sometimes this shit happens. So I was able to get inside the city. You know what we're going to have to do here? I'm just going to have to reload this game. So we'll do a little bit of fancy editing here. Cut, as they would say in the movie industry. We'll do a little quick edit here, and we will be back. It says recording has started and the StrengthenAI mod is active. Of course, that mod is still active, but we have turned down the XP for the enemy lords, right? They have gotten incredibly powerful and we kind of want to hold them at that. Now, I'm looking at our fiscal situation here, and you know, we need to do a little bit of financial austerity, right? We're going to have to sell some stuff. In fact, we're going to eat like a college student here. We're going to sell everything except the grain. We're going to live on ramen, right? In fact, we'll sell all the meat and the olives. We just need the money. Now, this guy does have his father's sword. Theoretically, we could sell that if we have to, but for the sake of this campaign, we're just going to say that's glued to his proverbial fingers. We're not going to stoop so low as to sell our dad's antique sword. Now, we could do tournaments, maybe. We might have some success with that. Of course, we're going to hunt down bandits. We'll probably do a little bit of quests. And some of this gameplay will be a little bit slower than this campaign has been roaring along with, right? Huge battles with the Baron, keep sieges, giant calamitous battles against the Western Empire. We're going to do a little bandit hunting. Actually, there's a hideout up there. Because we can't really fight 30 bandits here, let's try a hideout. And before you guys leave the screen, whatever you're watching, you're about to see a unique hideout here. We have a new mod that maybe some of you guys have used called adjustable bandits or something like that. Look at the chosen crew limit there, 5 out of 50, and of course we're still using 50% player damage for this episode, for this first hour of this side campaign. But look at that, I could take 50 people into this hideout, and that is because the settings are adjustable as to how many bandits are in here. Now, I don't remember what I have the settings on, but they're considerably higher than normal. So this is going to be interesting. I think the maximum it said there could be was like 200 bandits in a hideout or something like that. Yeah, 200, right? So these are virtual armies of bandits. This is going to be interesting, and maybe we'll play with the settings here just a little bit. It's another good way to highlight this interesting mod. It's highly, highly customizable. There goes our companion. She just got roped. So much for her. I think she died, in fact, too. She gave the grunt like she died. I don't know if you know that, but characters, including units on the battlefield, enemy troops, make different sounds if they're killed or injured. Like if they're injured, they'll go oomph, 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 like they got knocked unconscious. And if they're killed, they'll do that. It just sounds like a death cry, right? Like a guy just his jugular's cut open and shit. So these bandits are still hillmen. Yeah, like that's a death, right? It just sounds like his neck is cut open. These guys are going to be numerous. These hideouts are going to be interesting. And because the Death for All mod is turned up, no battle in this little side campaign is routine, right? These ordinarily bandit fights are just fodder. And of course, with 50% player damage against bandits with like 180 two-handed skill, 150 two-handed skill, right, we're going to tear some limbs here. We're going to be doing just fine. But there's definitely a chance that our characters, brother, whoever, may die, and we've already seen that. I think that companion died. Although I guess we'll have to wait till the end of this hideout to see that. But so this hideout is just an example of this adjustable bandits. You can have everything from like the amount of bandits that spawn near hideouts to how many maximum units can be in a bandit. I think there's 10 left still. See, we've killed 17 and there's still 10 bandits left. And you can actually make it so that the bandit hideouts are, it's almost like a city keep siege. Like there's hundreds, you can have hundreds of bandits. And I imagine, you know, they'll be in waves of 50 or something like that. So if you have 5 warriors, suddenly this is like an incredibly difficult challenge, right? It's you and your 5 or 6 guys in wave after wave of large bandits. And of course, you can get captured by these hideouts. Now, sometimes you're just knocked unconscious. If the rest of your crew is alive, you'll be able to escape. But other times, you can get captured by these bandits, and obviously that would set back our campaign here. Now, of course, his one-handed skill, we're definitely going to do some carving, but I just looked down. He's got no health left, so we got to dodge some rocks here. And no longer, at the end of this, am I going to say, yeah, I want to fight you and all your mates. Let's see how many he's got. Oh, that's not very many. 7, 8. Oh shit, look at the edges of the screen. There's more and more. There's like a full circle of them or half a circle of them around us here. So we're just going to fight this guy here. We're not going to, especially with no health. In fact, I could easily lose this. We'll have to do a little bit of parrying here. This is not my strong suit. I'm a juke and dodge warrior. Not much of a parrier. And success, right? The bandit boss is down. But look at this shit. There's a lot of bandits here. And this is for the little finale part. It'll be interesting because I will toggle a little bit with the settings for that. Now, it's also a good way to farm. Wow, and indeed, she did die. So there goes whatever coin we had on her. In fact, I wasted a bunch of money buying her those javelins. Damn it. That sucks. Oh, well, it is what it is, right? We're not going to save scum. We're just going to roll on. And, you know, these are factors that I want to be part of this side campaign. I want, even for these small battles, for there to be a little level of... She's alive still? Oh, you know what this is? I think they do this so you can loot her shit. So we're going to desecrate her body here and take all her stuff. Just like they did to Boromir, right? Where they looted all his shit and then sent his body over cascading down the river in a boat in the Lord of the Rings. We're going to take her shit. Thank you very much for your service. She got cut down in that battle. But I think that emphasizes how deadly this little side campaign is. You guys want to play, like guys play Iron mode, Iron Man or whatever. To me, this is way harder. If you get knocked unconscious here, the death rate is way higher. In fact, I remember hearing once that the odds of death in a normal bandit, or not just bandit battle, but a normal battle in Bannerlord is 1 out of 1,000 times that you're knocked unconscious. You die, right? Your character dies. So 1 out of 1,000 is not very much, right? Most people don't even get knocked out unconscious their whole campaign. What's going on here? It says... Oh, so it's just 10. I thought it was versus 19. They're not attacking us for some... Oh, I can't attack them. That's what's going on. My health is too low here. We are going to occasionally have to run to town here or whatever and get some health. The fortunate thing is I have this better time mod, so we can just make the days blaze by. And of course, if we have to heal for a while, I will do a little bit of editing. But look at our health go up 38, 39. You know, it's 35. It's just ripping. Where was that, though? I was saying a couple things. So normal death in a campaign is about 1 every 1,000 deaths. Well, right now we have 20 times the normal rate of death. I went in and kind of looked at the settings. So right now, what would that be? 1 every 50? Every 50 times a character is knocked unconscious, they rate to die once out of those 50, right? So you can break out your statistician calculator if you'd like. The bottom line for you guys, in simplest terms, we're going to lose people here, right? We already lost a companion in less than an hour of this episode. Rylan may die, right? His brother may die. Other family members are going to join this. It's not too suspenseful, right? His other family members are going to be joining him here. They may die, right? His sister may die. His younger brother will enter the picture at some point, etc. So a little level of intensity, despite the fact that we're running around with 10 guys in sort of the early stages of Bannerlord here. I am going to do a few quests, and we will intermix some, I guess what I would say, the philosophy of tactical enlightenment on all kinds of different things. Guys like it when I ramble, and of course you can always leave feedback and say I would appreciate it if you didn't ramble so much. We haven't done that much in this Vlandian campaign. It's been fast and furious, and so there hasn't been a lot of time for it. These 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 episodes, I don't know how many episodes there are going to be for this. I'm still cultivating the story here for this campaign. In these episodes where we're kind of fighting bandits, and in this case I'm literally doing a little bit of And people are dying of old age too. There's all kinds of death going on here. The Caladog is at war with the Sturgeons. We're still scoreboard watching, right? We're doing a little accumulation process here. We're going to do a little trading, but don't worry. We're not going to be running around following a caravan for 2 hours. Everything here will be in an expeditious manner. Sell this grain. I think I can practically double our money. In fact, we might even run back there and get some more since it's so quick. We need gold, right? We need 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gold so we can start recruiting troops and make a little army here for Rhineland. All right, so let's do some fiscal stuff, right? I am an amateur financial advisor. I'm a 30-year firefighter. For those who are curious, I did some time in the military as well. I'm an older fella. But more importantly, I'm a mathematically minded fella, right? I understand the intricacies of bond rates and CDs and certificates of deposits and mutual funds and stocks and stuff like that. I've done quite a bit of investing in my life. And I can talk sort of from the beginning in these episodes and try to help some of you younger guys on the financial path to success, because it's a treacherous world out there, right? There are fucking payday loan places all over the place trying to rip you off at 300% calculated interest over the course of a year, right? A lot of them are literally 20-30%. Should be illegal. In fact, they try to push laws. And then all of a sudden, those laws get pushed back, right? So the bottom line is, I can help you guys, hopefully, a little bit. Not a lot. It's not like I'm going to be a full-time financial advisor on this channel, but I can help you guys a little bit cultivate a more positive direction for your finances. And it's important because most schools do a terrible job, right? I don't know if they've coordinated with let's see what this hideout looks like. I don't know if they've coordinated with the big banks, but that's what it feels like. It feels like they want the average high schooler coming out. Even college students get very minimal financial training. It's almost like they want them to come out and just rack up credit card debt so they can be slaves to the banks. We will talk about that. Now, we have 22 troops for this hideout, so I'll try to weave this narration in. But these are archers, right? This is definitely a battle we can lose. Now, it says we're favored up there, but I don't think the hideout things mean a whole lot here. I've got a handful of archers and companions, and we've got a bunch of peasants. I don't know, I might not have mentioned it, but for some reason these bandits had a bunch of peasants that they had prisoner. They had Vlandian peasants of all things. So we've got, some Vlandian peasants here. Of course, we've got some Imperial recruits running up with their pitchforks. And in theory, this is going to be a difficult battle. We'll see how much financial narration I can do. It's a balance I'm trying to strike between boring you guys with slow gameplay, but also having a little bit of time so we can do a little bit of philosophic. These guys have me fucking absolutely bracketed. One shoots and the other one shoots. This kind of situation, you don't want to shoot, you just close on these bitches, and let's get our fucking sword on these guys. Right? They just get fucking butchered. Sometimes it's better against multiple archers just to charge, right? You're shooting almost the same speed as them. Don't try to exchange shots, right? Not to mention, most of these archers can be juked pretty well. I'm a little worried, right? The patch, the DLC, they're saying they're making archers more accurate. Fuck, man, the archers are already accurate. In fact, they're more accurate than me killing my own guys here. They need to make cavalry more accurate, right? Make them deadlier in spear charges, right? Championing guys are hitting them in the face with the spear. Let's see how many. Oh, there's only 6. But you know what, though? All of those are high-level bandits. So it looks like there's variability to this mod either way. I'm going to go ahead and heartily recommend this mod. With just an hour, really just a half hour trying this, I'm going to heartily recommend it. Right? Talk about altering your game for the better. Anybody who's experienced at Bannerlord, of course, hideouts are almost a nuisance, right? It's a good way to get EXP early in a campaign, but it's also unbelievably ordinary and boring. I think these will be anything but. And I think maybe in between episodes here, we will crank the difficulty even higher so that you don't go into a hideout unless you have a small posse, right, of 40 or 50 elite troops. That'll be really interesting. To face some of these gnarly bandit parties. Of course, there's going to be a huge amount of bandits running around the map because of that mod, right? That also increases the amount, or more accurately, the settings allow you to increase the amount and to make this campaign harder. I put whatever setting, maybe I'll take a screenshot. Look at this. I put more bandits in the settings. We're getting fucking swarmed here. And I got to be very careful or we're going to get captured again, right? And I'm an experienced player, and this is no joke, right? Bandits are swarming me. I'm just trying to beat feet to town to sell some of this equipment. or pick off an easier fight. But this is gnarly. Look at this shit. And there's like a gnarly soundtrack perfectly playing for what we're facing here. We are going to add some cutscenes to explain some of this too. I think the concept of law and order breaking down, leading to massive bandit fucking outbreaks and shit like that. We've got some tricks up our sleeve here for this campaign that hopefully keeps things very dynamic and very intriguing for you, the watcher. All right, now I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have a clear peekaboo ridge here. If we needed to, we would peekaboo ridge that, right? We will do some tactics in these bandit series because we're going to have some battles where it's 100 on 80 or 200 bandits on our 100, right? We're going to have some interesting battles, even though it's bushwhackers and freebooters, right? Now, I'm also not going to exploit the fact that we could just recruit a huge army of bandits. We are going to recruit, but we will say Ryland has a sort of casual noble's distrust of bandits. We're not going to develop a huge bandit-only army. That was the Peasants' Revolt with Hugh the Hammer. Even though we'll use bandits, we will recruit some of them. That's not his preference. Look at this guy's killing our fucking recruits and shit. It's going to be, every one of these is going to be gnarly with the chance of death, right? That's going to be what's on the menu today. All right, let's see if I can sneak this in here before the next gnarly engagement. So fiscally, one of the most difficult concepts early in life is that your compounded interest from an early age is the best way to build wealth, right? Now, the hardest thing about that, and let me explain that real quick. Compounded interest is just interest that makes interest on itself. In other words, you make interest this year on an investment, and next year you make interest on the money that you invested and the money that your previous interest made you. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's say you made 10%. $100 invested last year, you have 110 this year. This year, if you make 10%, you're also making an extra $1 on the money you made last year just from your interest, right? This is a very important thing. Most of you guys already know this. I just wanted to say that 30 seconds because I don't want to assume that every single person knows that with our decrepit system. Now, guys in Europe, you guys might have better education on it, but I can tell you from 3 different high schools in the United States, it's bad here, right? They just don't teach us. On top of that, we have corporate chicanery, commercials galore, making people want to buy shit they can't afford. And the next thing you know, people are broke, paying credit card debt. And when you're paying credit card debt, what you're really doing is transferring all your wealth straight to the wealthy. It's the opposite of Robin Hood, right? You don't want to do that shit. Now, if you own stocks, you can own the companies that have credit cards, right? You can own American Express. And as your friends are all spending money, I mean, you can see this literally. And we're going to use that little peekaboo ridge. I don't know if you see it. We'll try this here. It's a little bit shallow, but we'll try it. Peekaboo ridge, just a reverse slope decline here with our bandits. And we don't have very many archers, so it's not going to be that effective. So if you guys have American Express or, whatever, Visa stock, and your friends have Visa cards, what's happening is your friends are basically giving you money. So like the next time you go out, you can get the check. And you can be like, don't worry about it, man. And you can just grin inside your head knowing that on some level, your friends actually bought you dinner. Or at least they gave you the money to buy them dinner, right? If that makes sense to you fellas. Now, the other part I want to say, besides compounding interest, is I'm well aware of the dynamic that early in life, right? Some of you guys are 20, 25. Some of you guys might be teenagers. You don't have any money, right? You've had an allowance, paper route, whatever the fuck. Some job where you made $200 in 2 weeks. And life's expensive, especially with inflation. You want to buy shit, right? It's the first time in your life you've ever been able to buy shit and you can't afford it, right? Or if you can't afford it, it takes all your money. Very hard to save money. I'm aware of this concept. We will talk more about that. Now I got a little rock we can hide out and take cover behind here. Shit, I'm still getting shot. I'm like right next to this rock. Fuck it. You motherfucker. Oh, you know what? This is a fake rock. They're shooting right through that fucking rock. Wow. Chalk that one up to a bad map design there. Fuck it. F1, F3. They were shooting me right through the rock, and I don't know if you saw it. My character was able to walk right through it, too. So that's a fake rock. Just like the fake news that's out there that says, credit card debt isn't a big deal. It is a big deal. I'm going to hopefully be able to talk quite a bit about finances in this campaign. So stocks, not the kind of thing that at 18 years old you're going to be buying, unless you're one of those guys that is really, really interested in getting ahead in the world, right? And what I mean by that is having your money work for you. You're really doing one of two things. You're either working for your money or having your money work for you. And the sooner you can have your money work for you, the better, right? If you can get even 500 or $1,000 in a Fidelity, in a Vanguard account by the time you're 25, that compounded interest is going to start working for you. Of course, you can't have credit card debt. I always try to mention that. If you have credit card debt, don't invest, right? Pay off that debt first, because you're never going to make 15, 20, 30% consistent interest like credit cards are, right? Pay off your debt first. We will do, I don't know if I'll do loot at some point or other, equipment and stuff like that. I'm not sure I'm going to drag you guys through that here. I'm going to run to town. We'll sell some of this stuff. But if you have credit card debt, numero uno, right? Pay that shit off. We're getting more rebellions here. I'm going to sell this loot here. In fact, you know what? We're going to wrap this shit up. This first episode with cutscenes and stuff like that is probably going to be almost an hour. More from this campaign coming, fellas. We're going to do more financial talk, financial advice. I will talk about remineralizing your soil. For those of you who want to garden, I have a wide area of sort of jack of all trade expertise, and I will put some of it to use. So stay tuned. Please hit that like button, friends, and I will see you guys next time.